My name is Ching.
I am Solomon Long. We are electrical engineering students at Indiana Tech and will be graduating May of 2021.
For electrical engineering, I gained an interest through robotics in high school, actually. And I got to know the mechanical engineering side of robotics, then I got to learn the electrical side, and I kind of learned that I like the electrical side a little better than the mechanical side.
I actually relate it back to cooking when I was younger. Find the meal that I like, tear it apart, and figure out what aspect about it that I liked and see if I could recreate it at home. And I sort of took that logical mindset of taking something that's interesting, breaking it apart, and putting it back together. And I found out then that that's basically what engineering is. So we decided to pursue this project because it was sort of interesting. It was definitely difficult, but we hadn't seen somebody else do this before.
Well, our project is basically a human detection device that detects human footsteps within a certain radius. The general functionality of our device is it takes in frequency waves from anything around, and then we coded it onto the device where it just calculates and filters out anything that's not a footstep. And then from there, it just kind of calculates where the location is through a neat function called multilateration, which is a whole math theory and everything.
Yeah, so the process itself basically just takes data from a person walking around. It takes that data mixed with all the noise from the environment and filters it out using the code and filters the device itself, determines what signal is actually a person versus what was noise, then uses the delay between all of the sensors to find out where that person is located.
From my knowledge, the marketability of this product would be more towards the security side and marketing side, actually. So for security side, it's more of a discrete surveillance system versus like a camera in a room where someone can see it versus our sensing device that you can put under like a table where nobody can see it. And then it can also do like heat mapping and population traffic to determine like in a room where the most visited places.
So during the first semester of senior project or senior project 1, we basically were just going through research, trying to figure out what project we actually wanted to talk about, what project we wanted to do. Once the project was decided, then the rest of the semester was research. And then senior project 2 is where we actually really started going through and building the device.
We had the components that we wanted, and then we just went in with design iterations. We went in with all kind of just trial and error, trying to make something work, spending hours and hours in this lab.
So to break the process down to actually manufacture our device, what we decided to do was first start with what sensors we needed, what microcontrollers we needed, how we were going to hook everything up. To actually assemble the project, first we decided on how big the project was going to be, how much room it should take up, got all the dimensions of all the components, the microcontroller, the sensors, the chip, all of that, the battery. Then took that design, wired all the controllers and everything up onto a prototyping board, the filters, the microcontroller, the sensors, put it all together, and then just kind of temporarily mounted it to the device to actually prototype.
And then for the actual functionality of making all these components work together, it kind of was just all cored into the coding, which we used for coding MATLAB and also C++ coding. And then from that, we used kurtosis, which is kind of like a probabilities and statistics theory. Then from that, we used the time of arrivals and the time difference of arrivals of the actual wave. And then from that, we took that data in and put into multilateration, which is kind of like the core bread and butter of the entire project, where it determined where the location of that person was from the time differences of the wave to the sensors. I would say for issues that we've encountered and kind of just failures and prototypes, it became very apparent that the time difference and having everything really close was kind of an issue. And then we decided for our last prototype that we built was going to be increasing the distance between the sensors so that we didn't have to work as close with the time differences.
Yeah, a lot of our device revolved around that time difference of arrival or time of arrivals.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up, the faster that we could sample, the more accurate we'd be able to actually take that data.
Overall, in at least for me, what I used from my other classes for this project was coding skills. I also learned that drawing schematics and just drawing out ideas and just throwing out ideas end up creating better ideas than trying to find that perfect idea to start with. For me, like on a personal level, I'm very much a computer science guy. I really like to code. So being able to see my code that I wrote actually like do what I want is always fulfilling in itself.
When the project was done, that first moment there, just feeling that huge thing like it works.
Yeah.
And as soon as it worked, that was super, super fun.
Yeah.
I really appreciated Indiana Tech for a lot of the professors that have been around. Like I know Zach, Rumsey, Professor Byers, all three of them have been huge supports. They've been super encouraging. They've been super nice. Having them help, that was definitely something that I really appreciated about tech. As excited as I am to graduate, I will miss all the friends and all the teachers that I have, but I am ready to move on and to continue working in the actual industry where I can not just better myself, but potentially create something to better someone else.
For me, as much as I've enjoyed my time at tech, I would like to just be able to take this opportunity to use this as a stepping stone for my next step in life, which is going to be starting my career and using what I've learned here to be able to better the world.